Imagine standing at the edge of a life that could be extraordinary, yet feeling trapped in the ordinary. Imagine knowing that you have the power to create massive success, yet feeling stuck because fear, doubt, and hesitation keep you from taking the first step. Today, I want to break that cycle. Today, I want to ignite something in you that cannot be turned off. This isn't just another motivational video. It's a wake-up call, a challenge, a spark that will push you to rethink everything you thought was possible. I'm not here to tell you what's easy, because growth has never been easy. I'm here to show you the path that only the few will take, the path that separates those who settle for mediocrity from those who rise to greatness. Close your eyes for a moment and think about your dreams. Not the ones you tell others, not the ones that sound safe, but the ones that keep you awake at night. The ones that make your heart race when you dare to imagine them. These dreams are not random. They are your blueprint. They are your signal of what you were born to build, to conquer, to experience, or settle in. But here's the truth. Most people never reach them. Not because they lack talent, but because they refuse to embrace the habits, the mindset, and the relentless pursuit that greatness demands. Today, we're going to dive deep into those habits, the habits that separate billionaires from dreamers, the habits that turn vision into reality. And by the end of this video, you will understand something crucial. Your future is not determined by luck, your environment, or other people. It's determined by what you decide to do, right here, right now, every single day. Now I want you to imagine something even bigger. Imagine a version of yourself that is unstoppable, a version that doesn't crumble under rejection, that doesn't quit when the world pushes back, that doesn't settle for small wins when massive wins are within reach. This version of you is not a fantasy. It's built from habits, choices, and mindset shifts that you can start applying immediately. It's built from understanding that failure is fuel, not a stop sign. It's built from the relentless pursuit of learning, the courage to think long-term, and the commitment to creating value that matters. This is the you that doesn't wait for permission, that doesn't rely on luck, and that doesn't hesitate when opportunity appears. This is the you that can build empires, influence millions, and leave a legacy that lasts far beyond a lifetime. So, if you're ready to stop watching life happen and start making life happen, if you're ready to push past fear, doubt, and distraction, then stay with me. Every second of this video is designed to challenge your thinking, elevate your mindset, and force you to confront the habits that are holding you back. By the end of this journey, you will not just understand what it takes to create extraordinary success. You will feel, you will embody it, you will be ready to act on it. There is no waiting, no excuses, no maybe tomorrow. The moment to start building the life, the wealth, and the influence you deserve is now. Are you ready to take the first step? Are you ready to see yourself not as you are, but as you could be? Then let's begin, because what you are about to learn has the power to change everything if you let it. Long-term vision is the habit that separates those who chase money from those who build empires. It is the ability to see beyond today's comfort and focus on tomorrow's possibility. Most people live in short cycles. They think about what will make them happy this week, what will bring quick results this month, what will impress others right now. But those who build extraordinary wealth train themselves to think in decades. They are not obsessed with immediate applause. They are committed to lasting impact. When someone operates with a short-term mindset, every decision is emotional. If progress is slow, they quit. If results are not instant, they change direction. If criticism appears, they retreat. But when someone develops long-term vision, their decisions become strategic instead of emotional. They understand that meaningful growth takes time. They accept that the early stages of any big dream are invisible, uncomfortable, and often lonely. Think about planting a tree. On the first day, nothing changes above the ground. After 1 week, nothing impressive happens. After 1 month, it may still look small and weak. If you judge the tree by what you see immediately, you might assume it is failing. But underground, roots are spreading. Strength is forming where no one can see it. Long-term thinkers understand this process. They focus on root building before fruit bearing. They invest in skills, systems, relationships, and character long before rewards appear. This habit begins with clarity. You cannot think long-term if you do not know where you are going. People without vision drift. They react to trends. They copy others. They follow noise. But those with long-term vision define a destination clearly in their minds. They ask themselves, where do I want to be in 10 years? What kind of impact do I want to create? What problems do I want to solve? Long-term thinkers are patient, but not passive. Patience does not mean waiting without action. It means working consistently without demanding instant validation. They show up daily, even when motivation is low. They continue building when results are invisible. They understand that compound growth is powerful. Small improvements repeated over years create extraordinary outcomes. Another part of long-term vision is the ability to delay gratification. This is one of the hardest disciplines in a world obsessed with speed. Social media shows overnight success. Headlines highlight sudden breakthroughs. But what you do not see are the years of preparation behind those moments. Billionaire habits include sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Instead of spending money to look rich, they invest money to become wealthy. Instead of spending time scrolling endlessly, they spend time learning, building, and networking. Instead of chasing trends, they build foundations. Long-term vision also changes how you respond to failure. When your timeline is short, failure feels final. If you expect success in 1 year and it does not happen, you may think you are not good enough. But when your timeline is 10 or 20 years feedback, it becomes data. It becomes part of the journey. Long-term thinkers understand that setbacks are temporary. They see mistakes as tuition, not tragedy. Because their eyes are fixed on a distant goal, small obstacles do not shake their belief. This mindset also builds resilience. When you know that your mission is bigger than today's difficulty, you can endure more pressure. You can tolerate criticism. You can survive slow seasons. Short-term thinkers are fragile because they expect quick rewards. Long-term thinkers are strong because they expect challenges. They prepare mentally for the marathon, not a sprint. Long-term vision requires discipline and focus. Every day, distractions compete for attention. New opportunities appear. Shiny ideas promise faster results. But those committed to long-term success learn to say no. They understand that focus multiplies power. When you jump from one idea to another, you reset your progress repeatedly. But when you commit to a clear direction and refine it over time, mastery develops. Depth creates value. Consistency builds credibility. There is also a deeper psychological benefit to long-term thinking. It reduces anxiety. When you demand immediate success, you put enormous pressure on yourself. Every day becomes a test of your worth. But when you accept that growth is gradual, you allow yourself space to improve. You become process-driven instead of result. Obsessed, you celebrate progress instead of chasing perfection. Long-term vision is closely connected to purpose. If your goal is only money, your motivation will weaken during difficult periods. But if your vision includes impact, contribution, and solving real problems, your drive becomes stronger. Billionaire habits are often built around creating value at scale. They ask, how can I help millions? Not how can I get rich quickly? Ironically, focusing on value over immediate profit leads to greater financial success in the long run. To build this habit, you must train your mind daily. Start by setting goals that stretch beyond 1 year. Break them into smaller milestones, but always remind yourself of the bigger picture. Surround yourself with people who think big and think long. Protect your environment from negativity and short-term thinking. Track your progress over months, not days. Reflect regularly on whether your daily actions align with your long-term vision. Remember that time is the greatest asset. Everyone receives it equally, but not everyone invests it wisely. Long-term thinkers treat time like capital. They invest it in learning, health, relationships, and meaningful projects. They understand that decisions made today echo for years. Every habit you build compounds. Every skill you practice strengthens. Every connection you nurture expands. The truth is simple but powerful. Extraordinary wealth and impact are rarely built overnight. They are built through years of disciplined focus guided by clear vision. When you choose long-term thinking, you separate yourself from the majority who chase comfort and quick results. You step into a different category, the category of builders. So ask yourself honestly, are you living for immediate comfort, or are you building for lasting success? Are your daily actions aligned with a 10-year vision, or are they controlled by temporary emotions? Long-term vision is not glamorous. It doesn't always feel exciting, but it is powerful. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. It turns small daily improvements into massive achievements. It builds character, resilience, and credibility. And most importantly, it positions you to create not just wealth, but legacy. That is the first habit that grows billionaires. Relentless learning and adaptability are the engines that drive extraordinary success in a world that never stops changing. The people who build massive wealth are not the ones who believe they know everything. They are the ones who remain students forever. The moment someone thinks they have arrived, growth stops. Markets shift. Technology evolves. Consumer behavior transforms. You stop learning, you slowly become irrelevant. But if you commit to continuous learning, you remain powerful no matter how the environment changes. Relentless learning begins with humility. It requires admitting that you do not know enough yet. Many people allow ego to block growth. They avoid asking questions because they fear looking inexperienced. They avoid feedback because it hurts their pride. They avoid new skills because it makes them uncomfortable. But those who develop billionaire habits understand that discomfort is a sign of expansion. They are willing to look foolish today to become formidable tomorrow. A lifelong learner does not depend solely on formal education. Degrees can open doors, but curiosity keeps them open. True learners read widely, observe carefully, listen deeply, and analyze constantly. They study industries outside their own. They pay attention to global trends. They analyze competitors not with jealousy, but with curiosity. They treat every conversation as a classroom and every failure as a lesson. Adaptability is the natural extension of learning. Knowledge without action is useless. The ability to adjust strategies based on new information is what separates leaders from followers. Successful individuals intentionally build environments that challenge them. Time management also reflects this habit. Those committed to growth allocate time daily for learning. They read consistently. They listen to insightful discussions. They analyze their performance. They treat learning as an investment, not a luxury. Even when busy, they find ways to absorb new knowledge because they understand its compounding effect. Adaptability requires courage. Change can threaten identity. If you built your reputation on one expertise, shifting direction might feel risky. But courage allows reinvention. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs have pivoted multiple times before finding their breakthrough. Each pivot was guided by learning and awareness. They were not stubbornly attached to a single idea. They were committed to solving a problem effectively. In a rapidly evolving world, rigidity equals decline. The companies that dominate today may disappear tomorrow if they stop evolving. The same principle applies to individuals. Skills can become outdated, markets can shift, opportunities can vanish. The only sustainable advantage is the ability to learn faster than the rate of change. Relentless learning and adaptability transform obstacles into stepping stones. They create resilience, innovation, and longevity. They ensure that success is not temporary, but sustainable. This habit turns setbacks into strategy adjustments and competition into inspiration. If you want to grow beyond limits, commit to being a student for life. Stay curious. Seek feedback. Experiment boldly. Adjust quickly. Refuse to let ego block improvement. When you combine knowledge with action and flexibility, you create unstoppable momentum. That is the power of relentless learning and adaptability. It is not just a habit. It is a competitive advantage that compounds year after year, positioning you not only to survive change, but to lead it. Failure as fuel, not fear, is one of the most powerful habits that separates ordinary ambition from extraordinary achievement. Most people are not stopped by lack of talent or lack of opportunity. They are stopped by fear of failing. They hesitate to start because they are afraid of looking foolish. They avoid big goals because they are afraid of losing. They quit early because they are afraid that failure means they are not good enough. But those who build massive success see failure differently. They do not see it as an identity, they see it as information. Failure only becomes dangerous when you attach your self-worth to it. If you believe that failing at something makes you a failure as a person, you will avoid risk. You will stay in safe zones. You will choose comfort over growth. But when you separate your identity from your outcomes, everything changes. You understand that you can fail at a strategy without being a failure in life. You can lose money without losing your value. You can be rejected without being worthless. The habit begins with reframing. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" successful individuals ask, "What will I learn if I fail?" That small shift transforms fear into curiosity. When your focus moves from embarrassment to education, you become willing to take calculated risks. And without risk, there is no breakthrough. Every major success story includes repeated rejection. Ideas were criticized, proposals were denied, projects collapsed. But the difference is persistence. Those who grow wealthy and influential do not interpret rejection as a final answer. They interpret it as feedback. If one method does not work, they adjust. If one door closes, they knock on another. They understand that rejection is often redirection. Failure also builds resilience. When everything works smoothly, you do not develop strength. Strength is built under pressure. When you face setbacks, you are forced to analyze your weaknesses. You are forced to improve your systems. You are forced to develop emotional control. In that process, you become stronger than before. Each failure adds a layer of toughness. Over time, you become unshakable. There is also a psychological advantage in embracing failure. When you stop fearing it, you remove a huge mental burden. Fear drains energy. It creates hesitation. It causes procrastination. But when you accept that failure is part of growth, you move with freedom. You act faster. You experiment more. You try ideas others are too afraid to attempt. That boldness creates opportunities. Many people admire successful individuals for their confidence, but they misunderstand where that confidence comes from. It does not come from avoiding failure. It comes from surviving it repeatedly. When you have faced setbacks and kept going, you build internal certainty. You know that even if things collapse, you can rebuild. That belief becomes your power. Failure also teaches humility. When you succeed early without struggle, arrogance can grow. But failure reminds you that there is always more to learn. It keeps you grounded. It forces you to seek advice, refine strategies, and stay adaptable. This humility strengthens long-term growth. Another important lesson failure teaches is accountability. It is easy to blame circumstances, competitors, or luck when things go wrong. But those who use failure as fuel take responsibility. They ask, "What could I have done better?" This question is powerful because it gives you control. If you blame others, you give away your power. You take responsibility, you gain the ability to improve. Failure also clarifies priorities. Sometimes setbacks reveal what truly matters. A failed project might show you that you are chasing the wrong goal. A rejection might redirect you toward a better opportunity. In this way, failure refines your path. It eliminates distractions and sharpens your focus. There is a concept in growth that small failures prevent catastrophic ones. When you experiment consistently, you encounter minor setbacks early. These small lessons prevent bigger losses later. But if you avoid risk completely, you delay learning. And delayed learning can lead to massive collapse when challenges eventually arrive. To develop this habit, you must normalize failure. Instead of hiding mistakes, analyze them. Instead of feeling shame, feel responsibility. Instead of quitting, adjust. This mindset requires emotional discipline. After a setback, emotions can run high: anger, frustration, disappointment. But successful individuals allow emotions to settle before making decisions. They respond strategically, not impulsively. It is also important to measure failure correctly. A failed attempt is not the same as a failed mission. Hopozapo. If your mission is to build something meaningful, a single loss does not define the outcome. It is only one chapter. When you see the bigger picture, you avoid overreacting to temporary setbacks. Another powerful element of using failure as fuel is resilience in public criticism. When you aim high, criticism becomes inevitable. Not everyone will understand your vision. Some will doubt you. Some will mock you. If you fear criticism, you will shrink your ambition. But when you expect resistance, you prepare mentally. Criticism becomes background noise, not a stopping force. Failure also strengthens creativity. When a plan fails, you are forced to think differently. You search for alternative routes. You innovate. Constraints push you to become resourceful. Many groundbreaking ideas were born from failed attempts that required new thinking. There is also a timing advantage. Most people quit after repeated setbacks. Competition decreases when challenges increase. If you develop the discipline to persist while others give up, you position yourself ahead automatically. Endurance becomes your aim. But using failure as fuel does not mean ignoring patterns. If the same mistake repeats, it signals a deeper issue. True growth requires reflection. Write down lessons. Seek mentorship. Study what went wrong. Improvement must follow failure. Otherwise, it becomes waste. Ultimately, fear of failure is more dangerous than failure itself. Fear prevents action. Inaction guarantees stagnation, but action, even imperfect action, creates learning. And learning creates progress. When you train yourself to view failure as part of the process, you remove its power over you. You step into boldness. You attempt bigger goals. You stretch your limits. You become comfortable with discomfort. Success is rarely a straight line. It is a series of experiments, corrections, and persistence. Those who reach extraordinary heights are not the ones who never fell. They are the ones who fell, learned, adapted, and rose stronger every time. When you master this habit, setbacks no longer weaken you, they strengthen. Rejection no longer discourages you, it refines you. Loss no longer defines you, it develops you. And in that transformation, failure stops being your enemy. It becomes your greatest teacher, your silent partner in growth, and the fuel that drives you toward extraordinary achievement. Building value for others. First is one of the most overlooked habits that leads to extraordinary success. Many people focus on what they can take, on what they can gain immediately, or on how they can appear successful to the world. This approach creates short-term results, but it rarely creates lasting wealth or influence. Those who build empires understand that impact precedes income. They prioritize solving real problems for others before thinking about personal profit. Wealth and recognition naturally follow when value is created at scale. The principle begins with mindset. Instead of asking, what can I get? You ask, what can I give? This does not mean being naive or giving away resources blindly. It means identifying the needs, desires, and problems of others and providing solutions that improve their lives. When you focus on contribution rather than extraction, you align yourself with opportunities that multiply exponentially. People are naturally drawn to those who help them, support them, and deliver results. Relationships form more easily, trust develops, and loyalty is earned. Understanding the market or audience is essential. To create value, you must first know what people need. Observing patterns, listening to feedback, and empathizing deeply are key steps. Many aspiring entrepreneurs fail because they build products or services they themselves like, not what others actually need. Billionaire habits involve putting yourself in the shoes of the customer, understanding their pain points, and designing solutions that make their lives easier, more productive, or more enjoyable. When the focus is on impact, the quality of work rises naturally because the goal is not just profit but meaningful transformation. Building value also requires consistency. Occasional helpful acts or sporadic innovation will not create lasting influence. The most successful individuals commit to adding value repeatedly, day after day, project after project. They focus on processes that ensure quality delivery over time. Reliability becomes a signature. When people know they can depend on you, your credibility and authority grow, which in turn opens doors for bigger opportunities. Value compounded over time leads to reputation, trust, and eventually significant financial reward. Another critical aspect is scalability. Adding value to one person or one small group is good, but to reach extraordinary success, the impact must extend to many people. Think of businesses that touch millions, inventions that improve lives worldwide, or platforms that connect communities at scale. Those who build billion-dollar ventures are not just thinking of their immediate circle. They are solving problems in ways that can be amplified. Every decision, every product, every service is designed with a larger audience in mind. People remember those who contribute meaningfully and are more willing to engage in mutually beneficial collaborations. Generosity amplifies the reach and perception of value. Long-term orientation is also essential. Many people give value inconsistently or sporadically, expecting immediate returns. In contrast, those who build empires provide sustained value. They focus on building systems, content, products, or services that continue to impact others over time. They are patient with processes, nurturing growth slowly and deliberately. This consistency creates a lasting legacy, ensuring that their work continues to influence and generate returns far into the future. Finally, building value first fosters personal growth. When your goal is to help others, you are constantly learning, improving, and innovating. You expand skills, knowledge, and networks. You develop empathy, leadership, and problem-solving abilities. Your own potential grows as you work to unlock the potential of others. In this way, contribution is not only a path to external success, but also a catalyst for internal development. In essence, building value for others first is a principle that transforms mindset, behavior, and outcomes. It shifts focus from self-interest to impact, from short-term gains to long-term growth, from scarcity to abundance. It strengthens relationships, drives innovation, fosters trust, and ultimately multiplies wealth and influence. Those who practice this habit consistently position themselves not just to succeed, but to thrive in ways that benefit themselves, their communities, and the world at large. Wealth and recognition become natural byproducts of a life committed to delivering meaningful value. Now that you've walked through the habits that separate ordinary people from extraordinary achievers, it's time to pause and reflect on what this really means for you. All the strategies, all the lessons, all the mindset shifts we've discussed aren't just theories. They are practical tools that can be applied immediately. You've learned that thinking long-term gives you direction when the world around you seems chaotic. That relentless learning and adaptability keep you relevant when change is constant. That failure is not a wall but a ladder. And that creating value for others first is the true path to wealth and influence. These are not just steps to success. They are the foundation of a life that commands respect, creates impact, and leaves a legacy. But understanding these habits is only half the journey. Knowledge without action is like a car without fuel. It goes nowhere. What sets the truly successful apart is not just knowing what to do, but having the courage to start doing it. Today you have an opportunity to decide. Will you let fear, doubt, and hesitation dictate your story? Or will you take control and build it yourself? The difference between the person you are now and the person you dream of becoming is the decisions you make every single day. Each choice to push forward, each small step toward improvement, compounds over time. Each moment you resist distraction, embrace challenge, and focus on growth brings you closer to a version of yourself that others will call extraordinary. Remember, the road to massive success is never straight. It is filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments where giving up seems easier than continuing. But it's precisely in those moments that your habits will determine your outcome. The person who endures, who learns from failure, who adapts, and who continues to add value will always rise above the noise. Ordinary people stop when the journey gets tough. Extraordinary people use adversity as fuel. If you commit to these habits, if you make them your default way of living, you will develop a momentum that is unstoppable. And when momentum meets purpose, no obstacle can hold you back. So I want you to take a deep breath and look at yourself honestly. Am I willing to embrace discomfort for growth? Am I willing to invest time, energy, and effort into learning, adapting, and improving? Am I ready to view failure not as a threat, but as a teacher guiding me toward greater achievement? Am I willing to focus on creating value for others before seeking reward? Because the moment you say yes, everything changes. Your perspective, your decisions, your habits, and ultimately your life will align with the kind of success most people only dream about. This is your call to action. The lessons you've heard are not abstract. They are a blueprint. Take them, apply them. Challenge yourself every day. Surround yourself with people who elevate you. Learn relentlessly. Fail bravely, think long-term. Deliver value. If you do this consistently, the results will not just appear, they will explode. The person you are becoming is waiting on the other side of action. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for luck. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Your journey from ordinary to extraordinary is in your hands, and every second you delay is a second of opportunity lost. Commit, act, and transform, because the habits you build now will define the legacy you leave forever. Your time is here and your life is waiting to be extraordinary.